Equality with income, without directly taxing wages or income. Adjusting Amendment 16 simplifies funding the government by design. This page changed with the April 20, 2025 edit. The billionaire and the beggar pay the same percentage. As seen in the previous 2 pages, Congress relies heavily on the annual and decennial censuses to determine the tax rates on income. Congress also relies heavily on newer definitions to redefine what is income, now including that which was originally excluded. The census and wage tax violate the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. Below, we focus on a win-win solution that funds constitutional government activity as well as making life simpler and less costly for the taxpayer. A single flat rate tax. But on what? The beggar's income is not easily recorded. The billionaire's income is easily hidden. The growing numbers of religions and other charitable tax-exempt organizations shift the tax burden to a shrinking pool of taxpayers who fund the government. This unjustly increases the amount each non-exempt entity and person pays. From our nation's founding, with the phrase all men or mankind are created equal, as well as Amendment 14's equal protection under the law, the government is to equally protect the rights of the billionaire and the beggar. With this, we must find an easy, relatively painless way for all of them to pay their equal portion of the cost of government. Taxation equality. This proposed alternate tax is a combination of stricter immigration and work visa enforcement, import taxes and tariffs, plus a national sales tax. Stricter immigration and work visa enforcement protects our domestic workforce that requires businesses, large and small, to hire locally before asking the government to authorize more migrant work visa applications. Import taxes and tariffs are the secondary means by which to protect local jobs and local businesses. This raises the retail cost of products shipped from foreign countries, and especially where they allow forced labor or poor working conditions. The national sales tax applies only one time to end-user products, services, whether in person, over the phone, on-site, over the internet, through the mail, etc., and other transfers to absolutely every retail sales by purchasers and every product and service they buy, real estate transfers, etc. This also includes all activity that the government presently outlaws that is between consenting adults, not limited to transportation and possession of street drugs, prostitution, and other such business activities. This also includes purchases that are not directly included in or with the product or services sold, as well as donations and other received cash, etc., religious, charitable, and other. In addition to all other retail sales outlets, large or small, this includes flea market sales, as well as yard and garage sales, farm and garden produce sales, etc., that happen more than twice a year, regardless of location. And yes, this will include child lemonade stands as well as other youth fundraisers, with the idea of teaching youth the various requirements of commerce. This should encourage youth to participate in voting and other civic activity so they will become even better informed adults. The benefit here is that it is the same rate for the beggar, the billionaire, and everyone in between. They all spend money, even though they do not always generate that which is presently taxed as income. A national sales tax also does not have to concern itself with whether or not Rich people are hiding their money in foreign banks or paying themselves huge wages and benefits to evade paying income taxes because they are spending at least some of their money locally or paying import taxes and tariffs from foreign purchases. Putting it all together, when the billionaire, Warren Buffett, stated on national television that he pays less income tax, about 17%, than his secretary, about 32%, the rich do not always pay. The rich do not always pay taxes on all of their income. This indicates that there are many loopholes available to those with actual income that are not available to the poorer wage earners. The richer use loopholes to reduce their tax burden, which shifts to the poorer citizens, such as Mr. Buffett's secretaries. To Mr. Buffett's credit, better late than never, he seems to be working to balance the scale. The fairer tax. To replace the income and wage tax with a reasonable national sales tax, we must remove as much of the unconstitutional government activity as possible. The 2020 Founding Charter and Constitution for the United States of America is the best way to eliminate all of our nation's debt that the Constitution of the United States of America has not specifically authorized, as seen in Article 6, Paragraph 1. This stage returns all unconstitutional debt to the individuals who authorized it, did not repeal it, and did not veto it, reducing the nation's debt to manageable constitutional levels. This is a common practice in corporations, even in limited liability corporations, especially when the corporate officers violate their hiring contracts and/or corporate charters. In this case, the Declaration and the Constitution. Remember, governments are corporations, and the governed people are responsible for holding government officers accountable for their wrongs when discovered. Then, close every office, bureau, or agency, czar, etc. that the Constitution does not authorize. Some can be closed instantly, others phased out quickly. The fairer tax plan is the same whether with the 2020 Founding Charter and Constitution or by amending the present Constitution. It eliminates 100% of the nation's debt interest because our government is only authorized to borrow from the citizens who are required to finance all constitutionally authorized debt. We see this in the nation's pledge at the end of the Declaration. Government should not take more money from the people in taxes than is absolutely necessary to fund constitutionally authorized government activity. Since the citizens are the lender, creditor, to the government, as well as the ones who repay the debtor, with tax dollars, logically the people would not charge themselves interest. Borrowing from taxpayers works in this manner. As example, 1. The government budgets a need to cover $100 billion. 2. The government people authorize the debt directly. The Treasury prints $100 billion. This will decrease the value of United States of American currency in the market. 4. As taxes are collected to repay the printed funds, the market currency value returns to normal. The nation's government already tracks the National Gross Domestic Retail Sales, GDRS. The government is required to create a budget for money they will spend the next quarter and year. After whittling away the unconstitutional debt, national sales tax to cover government activity that tariffs and import taxes do not, is the fairest, least costly to the citizen, and most effective way for government to collect the authorized tax. Though people are likely to save more and spend less, the tax rate is simply adjusted with a new budget and the previous year's results. National Debt Reduction Solution from 1790. This does not rely upon a census or an enumeration. Each rich person spends far more money than each poorer person. Thus, each richer person pays a greater dollar value in taxes than each of the poorer people. But there are far more poorer people than richer. Now Warren Buffett can feel better that he will be paying an equal percentage, but a much greater dollar value in tax than does his secretary. The greatest social benefit with this fairer tax system is that it does not punish a person with a higher percentage rate trying to get ahead and join the ranks of the better off. Too many times, the workers who put in extra hours on the job find themselves in a higher tax bracket and literally taking home less cash than they did without the overtime. This is unjust. It encourages people to get additional employment where the pay is in unreported cash. The fair tax system eliminates nearly all the individual accounting paperwork and redirects that to far fewer entities, such as the businesses and other organizations, churches, charitable, tax-exempt, etc. Since all benefit from clean, honest government, all should pay according to their use and benefits by way of their spending. All government-associated costs for doing business are included in the retail price of the product. People should not feel forced to donate some of their money to government, nor should government be allowed to force people to contribute more than the Constitution requires. This fair tax gives the wage earner the largest income tax break ever since passing Amendment 16, which was unlawfully and unconstitutionally enforced against wages. If we add the fact that the application of the income tax code is also unconstitutional, the tax breaks get even larger. Congress has no authority to define words used in the Constitution, which is the law that governs their powers, unless a specific section of the Constitution grants to Congress the power to define or redefine words in that section. Violating the Constitution by government officers is treason. Constitution of the United States of America, Article 3, Section 3, levying political war against the people and our rights, which is the nation. When you know what is war, spotting treason is easy. Up next, national debt reduction. Governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed, 1776. The governed, by design, are intended to work together as a unified body, controlling the government's powers, equally protecting each other's rights. End page content.